welcome back to an all new tier list style ranking video. I have been loving this type of video. We're going to talk about a ton of viral products. I'm thinking of this video half as our tier list, of course, but also half kind of as just a speed reviews. Like, there are a lot of products I've been trying lately that I need to update you on, so we're combining them today. Let's jump in. If you've never seen one of my tier lists before, this is the ranking that we will be using. Of course, the higher up is a better score. The ones at the bottom, those are for the crappy products. And let's just jump right into it, starting with the blush that I'm wearing today. The internet's favorite, the Perfector Blush Duo. This is one of the 3 new shades. It's called Just Enough. And you might be thinking, Kelly, I thought you weren't super into the pinky tones like this anymore. And I'm not, you are right. But I did get this shade in PR. And at first I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be into that because I've more so been into peach. But this shade, something about it is very, very, very beautiful, and I have it on my cheeks right now, and I actually really like it. So this retails for $38, very steep, but you are getting the 2 blushes. You've got the powder and you've got the cream. Obviously, you could use them individually, just one or the other, but the Perfector method says to apply the powder first and then the cream on top, which goes against everything we've ever been taught. Every time I do it, it feels so wrong. Every time I do it, I like cringe a little bit, but somehow I'm magically surprised when it works. Like, this is the blush I have on my cheeks today, and I feel like my cheeks look radiant and glowy, but I don't have on a highlighter. One thing I will say though is I think a good question to ask yourself before purchasing this is, will you use the cream and the powder? Because if you're strictly a cream blush person or strictly a powder blush person, I think you might be better off just buying one singular powder or one singular cream blush instead of getting the duo, especially considering this retails for $38. So I think the question comes down to, will you use both? But I'm gonna put this in worth the hype. I didn't think it was gonna live up to the hype for me, but I do think it's a phenomenal formula. Okay, I actually have a ton of drugstore / affordable products in today's video as well, and I'm excited about that because I feel like most of my recent videos, they've skewed a little high end. We've got a lot of Sephora related content as the sale is going on, but today I'm gonna be updating you on quite a few drugstore products, including this. This is from Covergirl. This is their Outlast Lip Stain. I gave into the hype with this, as I did with many of these, but I felt like I was seeing this everywhere, especially in short form content. I could not escape it. They definitely did a great job with like the rollout for this product. I was seeing so many sponsored videos for it, and I gave in. I was like, okay, I have to have it. So I picked up the shade Canyon, and it is a lip stain in a pen. I've been so into lip stains lately, and the main reason I wanted to pick this up was to try it as a lip liner stain. I've got plenty of all over the lip stains. I mean, you could use any lip stain just on the lips or all over, you know what I mean. But the packaging of this, I think, and like the style and like the pointy marker tip of it makes it very conducive to use as a lip liner stain specifically. I'm shocked by the performance of this. This is one of the longest lasting lip stains that I have found, to the point where you have to be a little bit careful. I would argue this might not be a super beginner friendly product because wherever you draw this on, it is not budging. I feel like I have a few other lip liners, especially ones that are more liquidy in their consistency, where you can put it on and then you can take your finger. You've got a little bit of time. You can take your finger, apply it, move it around. Not with this. You need to be precise. Where you put this, that's where it's going to stay. So be careful. The other thing I will say about this is that it's kind of already drying up, which is a bummer for a $12 drugstore lip stain. I want it to last longer. I feel like it's drying up in the tip specifically. That being said, I feel like you can turn it over, you can shake it, you can use the side, you can make it work, but that is a downside. But the longevity from this is like unmatched. This I have been reaching for constantly. Now, rankings wise, it's not worth the hype because I feel like it's already drying out and I haven't even had it for a month. So that's a huge downside. I feel like I'm gonna have to repurchase it often. But I probably will repurchase it often because I love the formula. So I'm putting it in. I am impressed, okay? This is a great formula. I think a lot of you will be excited to see this in today's video. This is the Beauty of Josan Sunscreen, and this is one of my most recommended products ever. Anytime I talk about sunscreen on my channel, you guys are like, have you tried this one? Have you tried this one? And I actually got this in PR and I was so pumped to try it out. This is a Korean brand and you were not kidding. From the first time that I applied this, I was like, oh, what took me so long? Easily the best sunscreen I have ever used. Tops my other favorites like by a lot. This genuinely applies just like a moisturizer. There is no film, there's no greasy texture, there is no cast. At least on myself. I do have fair skin though, so take that into account. But the texture of this is a beautiful lotion. Like my skin feels hydrated. I kind of think of this as my morning moisturizer and my sunscreen, and it's $18. Like I genuinely don't think that you can beat this. This is worth the hype. If there was a ranking above worth the hype, I would put it in there, but like that's the best score we can give it today. It's worth the hype. Phenomenal. Okay, another drugstore product, the new NYX Bronzers. This is the Buttermelt formula. I picked mine up in the lightest shade. It's so hard for me to open. I can never get this open. Okay, I picked mine up in the lightest shade. It's called Buttercup, and it is like a rosy tint. This entire line has somewhat of that rose quality to it, and I was very unsure about it. I mostly picked this up to review, but if I'm being honest, if I didn't do makeup reviews on the internet, if I wasn't a YouTuber, I probably wouldn't have picked this up because I wouldn't expect it to work for me. I didn't think that I would necessarily like this, but wow, was I wrong. I'm gonna make a bold statement, but this is probably the best drugstore powder bronzer on the market right now. I haven't found anything that I like more than this. When they say, they call it the Buttermelt. When they named it that, that's so accurate. It genuinely feels so creamy to the touch. It's like butter, blends out effortlessly, highly pigmented, and the rose undertones that they have are not too much. I was worried it was gonna turn my face like totally pink. And even like for me, I don't tend to like things like super duper rosy. I like things more like peachy. I actually think this bronzer just translates as a natural sun-kissed look. Some of those like pinky red tones mixed in with the warmth really emulates the look you would get from sun if you got maybe like a little bit of a sunburn. I just think it looks so natural. It's blendable. It's perfect. And if you're into like the 90s, like no blush, just kind of like bronzer on the cheeks, bronzery blush look, this is perfect for that. I've been wearing this a lot as my blush slash bronzer. Like I'm using it for both. Okay, this drugstore foundation has gotten a ton of buzz. This is the Covergirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector. This is very expensive. It retails for like $21.50. That's at Ulta. You can get it for less at other retailers, but regardless, $21.50 is so much for a drugstore foundation. It's the foundation I'm wearing today. I think it looks very beautiful, but it's a really weird product. So you've got these tiny little balls in here that have the pigment in it, and then when you squirt it out and you see it on your hand, it looks as if the product has gone bad and it's separating. Like you see the tint and then you see like the liquid that it's in. It looks absolutely disgusting, but the more you blend it out, the little balls burst, it blends together. It's weird, okay? It's supposed to mimic a lot of the more high-end and luxury skin products that do a very similar thing. Now, I have not tried the Chanel, so I can't say if this is a dupe. I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people say they think it is, some people say that they don't. But what I can say is I think it looks really beautiful on the skin. It's not as radiant as I was expecting just based on the description of it. I was anticipating it to be this like very glowy product giving a similar result to like a skin tint, but I would actually describe it as like a kind of natural matte finish. And I will say if you have dry patches, it doesn't always sit the best on top of those. For me, I like this. It is not my favorite foundation. It's not my favorite drugstore foundation, but I do think that it looks nice if you're looking for that lighter coverage option. It's not buildable, okay? So light is what you're getting. You're getting light coverage. You can't build it up to medium because of the formula, because it is separated like that. I find if I take my brush and like try to add more on, it then just like weirdly it doesn't work. All that in mind, I will be ranking this under its average. It's not a bad foundation. It's a good formula, but it's like slightly more effort for me because I feel like I have to first pump it out and then like mix it together and then blend it out on the skin. Like, it's just average for me. The Urban Decay Quickie Concealer. So let me start off with, this is probably the biggest concealer I have ever used. It is 0.55 fluid ounces. Even other giant concealers, like do you remember when Too Faced launched the Born This Way concealer and everyone was talking about how that was a gigantic concealer? That one is 0.5 fluid ounces. So this is even a tiny bit larger. It is ginormous. It looks like a foundation. And it has a brush on the cap. That being said, I don't like this brush. I think this brush has way too short of bristles to the point where as I'm trying to tap it in, I feel like I'm about to hit my face with the plastic. You know what I mean? Now I like this. I think it looks very natural. It sits really well on my under eyes. It's an incredibly thin formula. So you're either gonna like the texture or you're not. It's one of the thinner concealers that I've ever tried, and it also sets relatively quickly. So I recommend moving fast, but all that in mind, I didn't knock my socks off. It's not better than a lot of my other favorites. I don't think it does my under eyes any favors, but I don't think it looks bad. Like, it is very much a nice average concealer. I will use it up, but we're gonna put it in the category of it's average. Okay, this lip liner stain from Sachu. You apply it, you peel it off, you have the stain. I will just tell you right now, I don't like this. I wanted to like this. I had the highest of hopes for this. Like, I definitely was all about it. I gave into the hype. I had to have it. I thought it was gonna change my life because I'm such a lip liner girl and I like having my lip liner a little bit darker than the rest of my lips. So I like kind of having it defined. I was like, this is gonna be the answer. It's gonna give me the longevity. But as a lip liner stain, it rarely looks nice on my lips. It normally looks pretty patchy. You can apply it all over your lips as well, just like a regular lip stain, but the intended purpose is to be a lip liner, and that's what I bought it for. And I just don't like this for that because A, the applicator is so thick and chunky, I can't get any precision when I'm applying it. I feel like it kind of makes a mess. And B, because it needs to be peeled off, you need to apply a pretty thick layer of it. So I just don't find it very easy. It's not user friendly. It tends to get pretty patchy, and I just don't even think the stain has that great of longevity to it. Like, truly, this really let me down. I'm gonna put this in the category of they lied to us. Like, I was let down when I first got it, but the more I've used it, the more and more that I dislike this product, especially when I compare it to other lip stains that I have that are considerably easier. Like, I feel like the reason this got so much buzz is because it looks cool in a video to peel it off, but the actual function of the product is not. Doesn't really work. Okay, the Tower 28 lip glosses. So I have a couple of these and I really like this formula. I do also really like the price of it. It is $16. Tower 28 is so reasonably priced for a Sephora brand, and these are super glossy and juicy. I really feel like anything from Tower 28 tends to go viral, and I feel like that was kind of the case with this. I don't think it's necessarily the best lip gloss formula I've ever tried, but I do like it. So for this one, I'm gonna put it in the category of I'm impressed. It's definitely a good lip gloss. Did I say lip liner a minute ago, or did I say lipstick? Hopefully I said lip gloss. But that is why I like this series once again, because I feel like this is where we can differentiate between products that really are like a must-have and products that are like, no, it's good. But like, will it change your life? Probably not. But you know what might change your life? Okay, that was dramatic, but the Danessa Myricks ColorFix. Okay, so I feel like I've been raving about this in a lot of videos recently. After today, I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. I will relax about these ColorFix products, but this is the best seller from the brand. When I was prepping for my copy and paste makeup video, I talked specifically about Danessa Myricks in that video, and when I was prepping for it, I remember reading in a news article that the brand said that they sell, I wanna say they said 60% of the sales from the brand come from just this singular product. Out of all of their line, all their other super popular products, this is 60% of their sales. I don't know if that's super current to today, but still, wow, this was like the product that started it all. And holy cow, This is incredible. It's pigmented. It does not budge. Before I even bought this, just like the day I was in Sephora swatching it on my hand, I could not get it off. Even that night, even after like washing my hands, I was still finding like little sparkles left behind. This sticks to the skin and it does not go anywhere. Like the staying power is phenomenal even without a primer or any sort of a base. This one is worth the hype. I feel like today I'm putting a lot more products in worth the hype than normal. I feel like my last few versions of this video, almost nothing has made it into that category, but we've got some good stuff today. Next up, the REM blushes. So these are their Hypernova blushes. They've got tons of shades, but I have the shades Pinking of You and Peach Planet. Now, Peach Planet is my obsession right now. I've been wearing this constantly. Pinking of You, as you know, I'm not as into this shade of pink right now, but let me show you next to the Patrick Ta. So here it is next to the new shade from Patrick Ta, Just Enough. It's incredibly similar in the pan with the cream shade, but not as much with the powder. It's much more pigmented, I guess not even pigmented, but more saturated than the powder one. Also, the undertone is slightly different. This one almost has a little more of that like lilac base to it. If you like powder blushes like I like powder blushes, try these. Check them out. This is such a good formula. It's creamy, it's pigmented, but it's not like a flat powdery blush. It has some life to it on the skin. Truly, these are phenomenal. They wear well. They're only $20. This shade especially have not stopped using, so I'm gonna say they're worth the hype. I can't believe I'm putting so many in worth the hype today. Normally, I feel like very few products make it into there, but these are worth the hype. Now, the Patrick Ta Plumping lip glosses. So I have this shade on right now, but as I've been sitting here talking for a while, it might have worn off a little bit, but this is the shade Say Less, and I also have the shade Need Her. So the first thing I will say about this formula is that it reminds me more of an old school lip gloss. This is like a true lip gloss in my eyes, like a lip gloss that would have launched earlier than 2020. Do you know what I mean when I say this? Here's the distinction in my eyes. Any newer lip gloss formula, everything is like this hybrid product that's kind of like a lip oil. The pigment is a lot more sheer. It is not sticky. I'm describing current lip glosses, not these ones, okay? These actually are different. I'll get there. But more modern day lip glosses, more like current lip gloss launches. They have very little longevity. You're going to be reapplying often, but they're very high shine. They're very comfortable, tend to be more sheared out, you know, less pigment. These are like an old school lip gloss in my eyes. Like they have a little more pigment to them. They're pretty sticky, almost, you know, venturing on globby, if you will. It's like, I will apply this one right now, the pink one. As you first apply it, it looks kind of bad. Like it just looks thick. I feel like my lips are a little dry at the moment, and it is definitely going into those lines. But as you blend it out, really like work it into the lip liner, it actually looks kind of pretty, but it is very different than a lot of the more like lip oils that have launched lately, you know? And actually I could do a whole separate rant about just like the definitions that we're giving these products, because like there's so much carryover in these names, but this is like true old school lip gloss. But that's why I don't necessarily like these. But in another sense, that's why I really like these. I have a weird relationship with them, but this pink shade I like applying with a darker lip liner like this. It's giving you that 2010s like light pink lip, you know what I mean? They're also supposed to be plumping. I don't feel any like plumping quality from these, so I feel like these are who they're for, but I could see a lot of people being underwhelmed by this formula. I'm gonna say I don't get it. I don't necessarily hate these, but they're a little thick for me. I feel like sometimes you even get the like, do you know what I'm talking about? The strings. They're just not my favorite formula. Now, sticking with lips, we have this from NYX. This is the NYX Fat Oil Slick Click Vegan Lip Pen. Probably the worst name of a product ever, or at least up there. I don't know why it has to be so long. I don't even know that all these words make sense together. Like, you can tell they wanted to stick with the name Fat lip, or no, fat oil, because they have the other fat oil. But I'm like, no, we could have just dropped that and named this something else. But no, the official name is the Fat Oil Slick Click Vegan Lip Balm. And this is very similar to all the other similar ones like the Flower Beauty, the Hourglass, the Tarte. It's a pretty similar product where you've got that click up pen. You've got this like lipstick. Sometimes if you get a little too much, I don't necessarily love the feeling on my lips. In general, this style of lip product isn't always my favorite, but if you're looking for an alternative to those more high-end ones that I mentioned, I do think this is a pretty similar product while not being an identical dupe. I really don't reach for this that often, but I think for what it is, it works well. So I'm gonna put this in the category of it's average. It's definitely not my favorite, and I don't think it quite dupes the products that it is trying to, though it is pretty similar. Now, the new version of the Dew Drops from Glow Recipe, these are the Hue Drops. I feel like I've been talking about these in a lot of videos recently, but this is their new bronzy version, and I really like these. Now, I have said in my other videos that I find this formula slightly different than the Dew Drops. It provides less hydration, but instead you're getting kind of that bronzy glow from it. I really like this either under foundation or mixed with foundation. I think it's a really fun and versatile product. I do want to note it is a little more sheer than like the Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy, so you're not getting as much of that bronzy effect on the cheeks. It's a lot more subtle. Personally, I like that, but it's not going to be for everyone. So I'm back and forth. I'm like, is it worth the hype? Is it I'm impressed? I think I'm gonna put it in I'm impressed, even though personally I absolutely love this, but I can see how it wouldn't be for everyone if you're looking for more of the bronze pigment on your skin. It is very sheared out and the bronzy glow can be a bit minimal, but for me, I love it. I find it really easy to use. I feel like it blends out beautifully and I love to mix it. Let me know your ranking of these products. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know your thoughts down below and I will go ahead and see you in my next one. Bye.